Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video. Right now I'm going to share my top 5 things that I found invaluable with my own chronic fatigue syndrome or ME recovery. So let's jump right in. In no particular order, I am going to start with something that I am really excited about these days, and that is my ice roller. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me talking about this. I cannot believe how much I love this little contraption. I bought this on Amazon for $9.99, I believe, and I use it every single day. And since buying it, I've been talking about it a lot, recommended it to a lot of other people, and a lot of other people with ME/CFS have purchased it, and every single one of them has been raving about it as well. So I know it's not just me. So what you do is you just keep it in the freezer, and then when you are ready to use it, take it out of the freezer. I keep it in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't absorb any, smells or odors from the freezer. And then I take it out and it's nice and frosty cold. So this ice roller is meant to roll on your body. A lot of people use it on their face primarily, but I actually use it all over. And there's a lot of reported benefits from this. The one that I specifically use it for is to help with getting lymphatic fluid circulating in the body, because I really came to appreciate during my ME/CFS recovery that I needed to do a lot of things to support my lymphatic system because it seemed to be sluggish. So this one for me is something that has been a great investment. All right, the next thing I want to share with you is something that has been incredibly helpful for me in getting better sleep. The sleep sound machine. I love this little contraption so much that I actually have 2. This I also got on Amazon, again, link in the video description, and it was $19.99. So how this thing helps me primarily is that I put it on every night just before I go to sleep. And it's got 14 different settings for sound. There are a couple white noise options. There's things like the sound of a fan, the sound of a clothes dryer. So I typically choose one of the white noise sounds and then I put it on before I go to sleep. So not only does this help me sleep by drowning out noise from the street or from my partner making noise in the apartment or snoring or whatever, it also helps me during the day to relax, and it helps me with meditation because it has a few other settings with things like birds chirping and ocean waves and crickets. So I find these are really nice. I'll sometimes put them on in the evening when I'm getting ready to go to bed just to relax, or during the day when I'm relaxing or meditating, I'll put these sounds on, or even when I'm just sitting and working at my computer, I'll have, some ocean waves or some birds chirping in the background on my one that I keep in the living room. And it really just helps to keep my stress levels down and just to keep me in a nice, calm, relaxed state. Moving on, juicer. Now, why do I care so much about having a juicer, and why was this vital for my ME/CFS recovery? It's because I used this to do a lot of juice fasting. And by juice fasting, I mean consuming nothing but freshly made, primarily vegetable juice for 1 to 3 days. I really came to appreciate how taxing it is on our body to be continually shoving food into it, because it takes a lot of energy for digestion and elimination. And when we're constantly eating solid food, our body can't use that energy for other things like cleaning and healing. So of course I can't say if juice fasting or juice cleansing is safe or suitable for you, but for me it's really been a game changer. And to do this regularly, I really needed to have a good quality juicer. I started with one that's called a centrifugal juicer. It kind of just pulverizes everything and then squishes out some of the juice. It was a cheaper machine. I think I paid about $100, and it didn't work so well. It didn't get much juice out of the produce that I was putting in there. So even though the machine was cheaper, I had to buy a lot more produce just to get a decent amount of juice. And it only juiced certain things. It did not juice leafy greens and wheatgrass and things like that. So it was really limited in what it could do. And it also heats up the juice a bit while it's pulverizing it and juicing it. So in that heating process, it's killing off some of the vitamins, some of the nutrients. So you're not getting as much out of it when it's done. So eventually I gave that one away and I invested in this one. Now I have had this one for about 10 years. This has lived with me in 6 different countries and it is still going strong. It has been in suitcases and backpacks, and it just never lets me down. Now this one definitely is more of an investment. I paid somewhere around $400 US, but if I were to divide that by how many uses that I've gotten out of it, I've definitely got my money's worth. This one has a very powerful motor. It can juice virtually anything. You can do, you know, citrusy type fruits, you can do hard vegetables, you can do greens, leafy greens, wheatgrass, and it gets a lot more juice out of the produce that you put in, so you don't have to buy as much. And it also keeps it at a cool temperature, so when you hear about cold pressed juice, that's what this is doing. So you're not losing those nutrients in the extraction process. So the company that makes this is called Omega, and this is the Omega low speed vertical juicer. I like how tall and slim this is. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Moving on, my Vitamix. I am in love with my Vitamix. Seriously, I cannot rave about this thing enough. A Vitamix is essentially just a really high-powered commercial-grade blender, for those of you who aren't aware. And this was so important for me with my ME/CFS recovery because I found that when I wasn't feeling well, again, trying to ease the load on my body with digestion, I would eat a lot of blended foods. So I made a lot of pureed soups. I ate a lot of smoothies. It gets things blended really fine and really smooth, so your soups and your smoothies and whatever you're making comes out really nice. And I use this to make nut milks as well, and I've also used it to make celery juice. When I don't feel like pulling out my juicer, I just use this and strain it through a nut milk bag, and the celery juice comes out really nice. Now these are pricey. They range depending on the model that you get, but I bought this one. It's actually a reconditioned one or a refurbished one. So I bought this one for $330, and I'll put a link in the video description to where you can get one of those. It's actually just from the Vitamix website itself. And when it arrived, it looked like brand new. You know, it came in the box with all the manuals and recipe books and all that. And I really could not tell that it was a reconditioned blender. So it works great. It was like brand new, and I've had zero problems, and it's under warranty, just like all of their other products. Now, number 5, this last one that I want to share with you might seem like a bit of an odd one for an ME/CFS healing tool, but it has helped me a lot with sleep. And as you know, I already very much value sleep, and it's been very important for my recovery. So this Kindle Paperwhite e-reader has been such an amazing tool for helping me to get some sleep. This one runs on Amazon for about $129.99. There are more expensive ones as well if you want more fancy features, but I have found that this one has been more than enough. So the reason that this has been so valuable for me is that for me to be able to sleep, I need to power down at the end of the day. I need to get into a dark, quiet room without TVs or phones or connection to the internet or any of that stuff, and I just need to be someplace quiet, calm, and cool for the last hour before I plan to go to sleep. And I find that the best way to do this is to go into my room and to read something light, just a really light fiction story or something on my Kindle. And why this is great and better than a traditional book is that with a traditional book you always need some kind of light. So you're always getting that light exposure in your eyes, which is not signaling to your body that it's time to sleep. This one has light setting on it. It's backlit, but very, very gently. And it's done so in a way to mimic an actual book. And the light setting has, I don't know, 20 different settings. So I put it as low as I can possibly manage it and still be able to read it. So it's just a very, very small amount of light that my eyes are getting exposed to. And for a money-saving tip, for those of you that aren't aware, I use the Kindle Unlimited program, which costs in the US $9.99 per month. And what this does is it gives you unlimited access to all of the books in the Kindle Unlimited program. So I virtually only buy books from the Kindle Unlimited program, and I read a lot. So I am reading 4 to 5 books per month. So at $10 per month, I'm only spending somewhere around $2 per book. So it saves me a lot of money on books by doing it this way. So there you go. There's my top 5 that are all about things that are helping with supporting the body's immune system, supporting your ability to sleep, supporting your digestion and diet, and just all of those things that I have found incredibly valuable in fully recovering from chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME. Now again, I definitely appreciate that not everybody can afford all of these things. At many different points in my life, I could not afford all of these things. And I'm certainly not saying that they are essential for healing and that without them you won't be able to recover. Had I not been able to get these things, I'm sure I would have found a workaround and been just fine. To me, these are just really nice things to have, really nice things to support you in your healing journey if you can manage it. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.